Home Invasion by Graeme Arnfield, which was part of the Forum Expanded section of the festival. Full disclosure, Graeme is a friend, and I got a drink with him before the screening. But I will give my honest responses to the film.
Cash for honours.
Yeah. I liked it very much. It is a film that doesn't shy away from didacticism. That has intertitles, constant intertitles that are in a sense reminiscent of silent film. It is shot entirely, also reminiscent of silent film and of The Wheel by Paul Gans. There is a circular frame throughout the whole film. It is essentially a history of the doorbell, which uses it tells the doorbell through four different stages with a kind of coda at the end. It starts off talking about a woman in the 80s, I believe, a black woman who installed who came up with the idea for a video doorbell because she felt so unsafe in her house because people were burgling her all the time. It then skips to talk about a man called Jamie Siminoff who founded the company which is now known as Ring, which is owned by Amazon, which you may well have seen, especially in America, these video devices that record to an app who is at your doorbell. Graeme has managed to source, I'm sure there's a huge pool of footage that he had to source from, an infinity pool. He's managed to source extraordinary "You've Been Framed" style collage of clips of bizarre things happening at the thresholds of people's houses, which has this extraordinary tension of sort of waiting for the thing to happen. The reason why this has been taken out of the surveillance pool and into a kind of a different context. It's magnificently structured. It evokes Hito Steel. It evokes Harun Farocki. It evokes Adam Curtis, and I don't necessarily say that critically, although I think there were moments where I was unsure about the didactic voiceover, but it kind of won me over. Maybe that's partly because I think he's just generally more politically switched on than Curtis. There is obviously a lot of E.P. Thompson and a lot of the history of Luddism, which marks the final chapter of the story. There's also a middle section, which I just neglected to mention, about D.W. Griffiths and his invention of parallel editing, which was inspired by a nightmare that he had. They're all based on nightmares, but it was inspired by a situation where he was in New York and his wife was in California, in San Francisco, and he knew that she was unsafe via the telephone, but he couldn't do anything about it. And then it goes through this extraordinary sort of Christian Markley style montage of situations involving parallel editing and involving telephones in thrillers and horror films. The best way of putting it into words is that I think Graeme has conjured the idea of private property into life in a way that only the moving image can, and I thoroughly recommend it, and I look forward to talking about it with other people who have seen it soon, hopefully.
Ding dong merrily on high.
Indeed.